So how do you get what you want? How do you manifest anything you want to imagine? How can I manifest something like one of the elites or like one of the people who have everything? 3 kind of dark rules for success. Not many people know about them. Okay, so what are these 3 rules? Well, in this video, I will share with you one way of doing that. And this is really in response to a question. I won't tell you who the person is because I wanted to remain anonymous. But the question is, how can I manifest something like one of the elites or like one of the people who have everything? When I say elites, I don't mean the elites running all the agendas and trying to depopulate and stuff like that. When I say elite, I just mean in the pure definition of the term, the people at the top of any particular hierarchy or spectrum. People who have achieved the most, have the most money, or are living their dream life, people who are the happiest, right? I just mean the top 5-10% of people in any given spectrum. Okay, so don't freak out, don't worry, I haven't switched to the other side or anything like that. The way that the peak performers, let's use that term instead. The way that the best people create and manifest things is using these 3 kind of dark rules for success. And I don't know why they're called dark. They're not really a secret. They're not really hidden, but for some reason they just remain kind of in the shadows. Not many people know about them. Okay, so what are these 3 rules? So the first one is vibration. And I've spoken about this in countless videos, right? But if you want to create something or manifest something, or even just become someone, you need to first change your vibration. When you change your vibration, you will kind of resonate and attract things that are the same vibration. And I know this sounds kind of like, oh, it's kind of out there, it's kind of woo-woo. But you can really see, if you just forget the terms and the buzzwords for a second, you can kind of see this in your own life as an example. Most people can, right? So you will always know that there's 1 or 2 people who they just seem to be really lucky. They seem to get opportunities coming towards them. They always seem to fall in dog poo and come up smelling like roses. You may have heard this expression, right? They just somehow, in any situation, they come out on top. They come out in a better position. And then you also might know some people who are just full of calamity. They're just constantly attracting bad luck, bad situations. There's not really much of a difference between these 2 people. And you can often find really good, genuine people who seem to just be really unlucky. And they never seem to catch a break, right? You might even hear them say these words, I can never catch a break. The only difference between them is their vibration and what they're focusing on. The person who is succeeding and being lucky, as you might say, all they're doing is they're just focusing on what they want instead of what they don't want. We all have struggles, okay? We all have struggles. We're all going through something, whether it's like a health thing, a mental thing, finances, stress, danger. Like we're all going through some kind of struggle, at some point. The difference is, do you focus on that and focus on what you don't want? Or do you focus on the reality that you do want, even if you can't see it right now? This is literally what manifestation comes down to. It's not this woo-woo thing. It's just, are you going to focus on what you want or what you don't want? Think of the brain like a computer. If you focus on what you do want, the brain is going to kind of use its powers to find different paths and different ways of getting to what you want. And in the same way, if you focus on what you don't want, the brain will find different paths towards getting more of what you don't want. The brain is neutral. And this is what I really didn't understand until much later in my life. Your brain doesn't really care which way your life goes. It's a tool. It really is just a tool that you can use to either focus on what you want or what you don't want. So vibration is just that same thing. It's just a different way of explaining that same thing. So when I say you need to change your vibration, another way of saying that might be to just focus on what you want. And by doing that, by focusing on what you want, you will naturally change the way you talk, the way you act, the way you think, and what you believe. And so through changing those 4 things, you are raising or changing your vibration. And I know the word vibration is kind of charged, like some people think that it's like this woo-woo concept, doesn't make sense. But really just think of it as like an umbrella term that describes you as a person and the energy, like the kind of signals that you're giving off. It could be things you say, the way you walk around. It could literally be any of these subtle little things that are really just subconscious. We're not usually aware of them. But when you change all of them, you attract different things. People notice it, different situations come to you. And it really just literally just works like that. I could go into more detail, would love to, but I don't want to make this video too long. So the next one, the third one, there's one more after this, is that you protect your energy. What do I mean by that? So the peak performers, the people at the very top of their game, who have, you could say, achieved their dream life, not just materially, but in terms of happiness, peace, purpose, fulfillment, and joy, what you'll find that they all do is they fiercely protect their energy and their time. And this is a very common problem amongst spiritually minded people, or what you could call light workers. They want to please everyone. They want to save and help everyone, which is fine. Like, we're all human. Of course you want to help other people, but where it gets to be a problem is when you take on all of these different negative emotions, fears, problems, stresses, dramas from all kinds of different people, and it lowers your energy to the point where you can't help any of them anyway. So the best thing to do, and I know it sounds selfish, but I promise you it's not, it's the opposite. The best thing to do is to prioritize your own energy, happiness, peace, and safety. And when you do that, you make yourself into the strongest version that you can be. And then that means you can help others more, right? Instead of the opposite, which is where you give away all of your energy all the time, constantly trying to help and save everyone. And you might find this has happened to you already, right? You end up drained, sad, depressed. You take on their energy. You start to feel and think like them. And before you know it, you're not where you want to be in life. And you can't help them. So you need to protect your energy, and there's different ways of doing this. I did actually make an hour-long webinar kind of YouTube video, which you can find on my channel. The next one is that you give it away. When you truly believe in abundance and have seen the powers of manifestation and how to create a different reality, you see that it's actually not limited at all. So there's like an unlimited amount of wealth, happiness, love, peace, and fun experiences. There's not actually a limit to any of this stuff. When you really truly believe that, you don't mind losing some of it, and you become, and this is really, really important. I didn't learn this until I was at least 20, 22. When you give it away, when you become completely unattached to the outcome, ironically, you actually get that outcome faster and you get more of it. I mean, there's many examples I could give, okay? But basically, when you become unattached to something, it just kind of happens. I can't explain why. Well, I can explain why, but it would be a long video if I did that. You need to become unattached to the outcome to the point where you don't actually mind which way it goes, because your energy, and going back to this word again, your vibration, is not going to change depending on something you physically get. And it took me a long time to realize this. So you might, let's say if you're trying to manifest success in the form of a big house. This is like the classic one. We all want a big house, don't we? When you get to this point where you can manifest things really quickly and easily, when you get that house, it doesn't really change anything. If you do it right, you will still feel the same. And if you get that house and then lose that house, somehow you go bankrupt, whatever, your inner peace and happiness and vibration will not change. Because by the time you get to manifesting that house, your vibration is so firmly locked in that you could lose it all and you'll still be fine. And this is one of those things that is easier said than done, isn't it? But it truly is, that is the truth. Okay, when you get to this point, you could lose everything and you would still be fine. Your vibration would still be the same. You would still be just as happy, and you can just make it all again. It's completely abundant. You could lose everything, all of your money, your house, clothes, car, whatever, and you can just create it all again. There's many stories about this, actually, about these self-made millionaires who lose it all, and then pretty quickly, usually, within a few months or even just under a year, they've created it all again. It's not luck, it's not random. They obviously have learned skills on the one hand. Of course they have. They have a network, which is also a big factor, but it's also their vibration. They have, created a vibration in themselves, which means that they could lose everything and they would still be fine. And not only fine, but they would still kind of quickly create that new life again. Anyway, I did make a membership actually about this, where I teach you how to do these things. The link's in the description. That's, in my opinion, the only place right now where you can go to learn this stuff and really learn like a combination of the spiritual aspects, so how to manifest, raise your vibrations, and also the practical business stuff. So how to actually make a purpose-led online business that you can run from anywhere, how to quit your job, how to diversify things and escape the matrix. It's all in there. So yeah, check out the link in the description and let me know what you think.